Okay, so let's start working with the API call and be able to pull it there. So what I'm thinking here is on my enemy card. Let's do a simple div here, and let's do only be else if we send an anime. I just want for now pre-render the anime itself. Uh, That will be the only change format. This will be changed later, but for now, when we send the anime JSON object from the call, I just want to render inside a box here. So let's say, for example, here, let's call a spin. Let's do cons anime equal reference null. Let's do anime.value equal to message hello there, right? And let's send here if anime equal anime. And we just send that one right there. That's what I wanted to see. So the idea would be to actually click spin, and the spin will go and make the API call and fetch the anime object and push it to the anime itself, to the anime card. For that, we can make the call here, but we'll not be doing it the way they're supposed to be. So one of the elements that Vue has is the composables. We already moved forward, talk a little bit about VueUse. There's a bunch of composables prefabricated for you that you can reutilize, and we will use some of them. But I'm thinking here how to use a composable that will handle actually the anime itself. So let's do like that. That way you have the source of truth in one place, the logic in one place, and you reutilize it in different places. And here mostly would be used in one particular place, but it's a good way to separate the logic or those elements. So for composable user are inside the source directory, we have a composables folder. And then inside the folder, let's create one. Let's call this use anime roulette.javascript file. Sorry, dot JavaScript. This will create my folder and my use anime roulette JavaScript file itself. And the first thing that we need to use here is a simple import ref from Vue. As simple as that. I will use a bunch of constants here. Let's do const. There's something called URL. This is a value that will never change. And this is the URL that will be calling the API. Will be the ginkan.mo version 4 random anime, right? Let's do const max save spin attempts. And this looks complicated, but it's just a simple number. We have there, and let's do const retry seconds. Let's do 10 seconds by default. Okay, and we have some complaining there because we declared a bunch of stuff that we're not using yet. So here's the idea will be, usually you take this from a configuration file or for an environmental variable. We just put it on the top as a constant, so we can handle it through the project. And we do a simple export, and we export a function called use anime. This is the naming convention, anime roulette, right? And we'll export this to the world. Here, we'll be using const anime, So pretty much the reference that we put it on the in the home view, we will create those through here, and we are re-implementing the imported ref. So we do the anime will be a simple reference of null, right? It doesn't exist yet. We'll do const loading reference false and const error with a reference of an empty string. And of course, we need to change this const error. Cool. And now that we declared those, we need to export those. So those are the ones that will be imported for whoever used this. So in this function, use anime roulette, we need to return different objects. And what we'll be returning here, let's actually just return the anime, the watch list. Well, actually, I'm moving ahead. Loading and the error for now, right? So we have those through there. So one of the things that we need to do is here we'll do a simple const spin will be a synchronous function. That's pretty much like we'll make the API call. So we're making this in a synchronous function. Now we'll have something and we need to return it. Return spin. And here we'll make the different calls. We'll talk about using fetch. And I already know the function and properties, so we'll just talk about those. But if you go to the VueUse website, you will see everything that is there. So let's just view fetch from at view use core components, right? So here we just need to define a simple elements. The one of the best practices when you're making a call is to escape early. What that means is get out when you need it. So if somebody called the spinning and we're still loading something, you know what? Um, let's reject it. Let's not continue doing here. So we know that loading by default is false, but if something make it true and it's loading already, we will not make the call a second time. We need to wait for this one to finish. So we'll do a simple if loading dot value. I mean, if loading is true, I just need to return. Like, don't do anything. Go back. Don't do the call. But if loading is actually false, then I need to set up some elements. The first thing that I need to set up is actually loading. So here I will say, well, now that everything will start running, my loading will be true. If there was an error before, I need to clear it. And we'll talk about the error. If there's an error, just clear the error. I don't need the error itself. And the errors are with a reference, so it will be the dynamically here whenever we call the spinning side. And then we need to have a try catch. So try catch in JavaScript, if you know what it is, it will try to do something. If there is an error, we'll catch it. And after everything is catched, there's a finally element that always will do something. And we need to fill it, of course. So we'll try to do the call, and there's something wrong with the call. We need to catch that error. That means something happened. So we can tell here, well, instead of failing or moving the app or getting out, we're telling, well, my error the value will be equal could not find an anime right now. Please spin again in a moment. This actually is a bunch of stuff that is not supposed to, because it should be catched in single quotes. Could not find an anime right now. Please, let me just spin again in a moment. Cool. And finally, like it doesn't matter if do it or not, we just need to do a simple loading dot value equal false. So we're telling it is when you make the call, there is an error on the call. We just define an error, and that's the error that will be rendering. Then we send it the text. And it doesn't matter if it's successful or not. At the end, always change the loading to false. That's what we're saying here. So we're just wrapping and making sure that we're able to get out before we proceed. So now we can use the use fetch and start making the call itself. So I talk about safe attempts because if we get a errated or something that is not valid, I will attempt it again. So I will try that. So let's do a simple for let attempt equals 0, while attempt is less than max spin attempts. I will be increasing my attempt by 1, right? I'm just telling it like try it X amount of time, and that amount of time will be 5 that we had it here if it happens. So we need to verify our request, right? We're making a request and we're using the use fetch element, and we need to call the URL that we have on the top, and I will head it here something called immediate false, like it's not live, just to have it as a default there. And after I get that, I need to do a simple get request and convert that to JSON because I know that my request should be a JSON object, right? So that's what I'm making. It's as simple as that. It's just a dot get and convert that to JSON because the fetch is what it is. Now that I have my request object created, I just need to wait it to my request to execute. And that's it. Sorry. So we execute the request and we can just extract my response will be my request response object, the value data, right? As simple as that. Now that we have that, now we can verify if that response is working the way it's supposed to be. I can do simple console dot log my response just to have it here. And let me just save this for now. Sorry for that. And let's go back to my homepage. So now that I'm in my homepage, I don't need to have this here anymore. And that's the purpose, because now I have those on my composables, and my composables are the ones that will be handling that information. So the first thing that I need to import, I will remove this drum from here. Well, I will keep it for now. I'll remove it. We will import a computer later, but let's move step by step. Let's do import use anime roulette from composables use anime roulette. And now from that, we can extract different elements. And const specific equal use anime roulette function. And we can get the anime, for example, we can get the loading, we can get the error, right? And we can get the speed. Cool. So now we send the logic about the anime, the loading, the error, and the spin here. And we pull in the same to send it here in our anime card. We're sending the anime, the loading, and the error, right? So in theory, mm, this should work a little bit. We're not saving anything in the anime. What we just did here is we're sending the response to the console log. Let's see how that actually works. Let's inspect this. Let's go to the console and let's spin it. And we have a 429 there, right? Too many requests right away. Oh, because we're calling it 5 times. So it's actually failing right away. It's trying to get the first one and then give me the get request as failing 5 times. Actually, it's not doing exactly what I needed. So let me try one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 4 of them actually stop it because it was just too fast. But we can see it's doing something. Here, I don't like this part. This should not be null. This actually should be something else. Let me see here what is actually happening. So we're trying the request execute. We are seeing the response from our request, and we're canceling out the response. But it looks like they didn't like it completely. So we're using the use fetch with the URL. Oh, this is wrong. It's immediate with double M, not with an M. False, get JSON. I think that was. Oops. Let's try one more time. Spin. Yeah. You see right there the loading state. Let's try one more time. And here we see the response with the body element, the header, the status, when it's that one. But when it works, it just works. Nice. So the course one. And let me see here. The first one is actually should work. So we have 200. This is the okay one. So there's a stream here. So here with the object. So okay, this is the one that we needed. And this is the one that we'll be handling and working a little bit better. Now, we need to do it only once, right? So here we need to verify a different element. One of the things that I can see here is the OK equal true. Something that useFetch gave me right away. When it's an error, like this one for like 429, I don't see the OK object, right? The OK label here. So I can see a little bit and understand what I need to handle through the process. So the first thing here, instead of pulling the response right here, let's do, if I don't have a response, I need to return. Like, you just failed, right? I don't need to attempt it again because the attempt just went and get that something that should not be there. So if they don't have a response, I will just do my error.value. And I will say, usually this is when we have an error on the network. Right? If there is no response, that means that's network error while contacting GCAN. Check your internet and try again. And let's do something else. But if my response, if response dot status equal, and we do the strict equal here for 29, we need to do something else. We need to start the countdown. So here we do the retry seconds. So we can do a simple error value. Let me copy this. Let me just put it here. But I have it now named here. Rate limited for 29. That will be my error. Please wait this amount of seconds before spinning again. And now we need to do that logic, and we will talk about the logic in a minute. Now, this one is a little different. Well, we saw that if there's no response, okay, something went wrong while contacting. Like there's an error, and we don't know. And this is just catching everything that is not 429. This is just catching the 429. This is catching the rest of the errors. So we are able to handle that in particular. And if there is an error, we also have an error value. See, the request is having an issue. It's pretty much a network error too. So this is for the response element, and this is the request. And this is called failed sooner. We just verify is we need to get out before continue processing something. And it's what we're telling it. The error for 29. And oh, I forgot, we need to return. Like if there's no response, get out. If there's 429, get out. If there's is not okay, get out. If the request have an error, get out. That's it. So now that we have all that, we can actually verify if our request actually worked. And that will be in a request data element. And that's I think that was the issue. So here, in the console, the log request does data dot value, right? And we can see it. Where is it? Here. So let's clear it. Let's try it. Loading error after we get the 429. But if we get the data here, we can see our object is actually bullet. So we know where to get it. It came from our data element of the request itself. And right now we can see we're switching the billing. If I spin it again, before the 429, it actually gets a different one. Neon Genesis Evangelion. Oh, this is a cool one. But well, this is actually rated error. So we need to filter that out so we don't have anything that is rating R itself. Right? So we need to remove those before we actually show it. But here it's still trying to do 5 times, and we get the rate limited always, and that's why the rate limiting is just showcased there. We'll handle something with the seconds in a minute, but let's just move forward with the process here. So the first thing that I need to do, let's actually handle the retry, because I want to do something about that. For that, we'll be using, as I mentioned before, use the countdown from VueUse. Sorry. And for the countdown, I will have this already in place over here. I will showcase what it is. And let's use the countdown and let's export it here. What we're doing in the countdown, saying we can say initial countdown, start 0, and we'll say that the interval should be in seconds. We're having the object officially for the countdown in the documentation is called remaining, start, and stop. When we start the countdown, stop the countdown, or have the remaining of the countdown. But I changed those to cooldown left to have a little more context. Well, we knew it. And actually we need to do start cooldown and stop cooldown. Not countdown here, right? And the only things that we need to get out, that will be, is not just the use, is not the use countdown, it will be the cooldown left itself, right? Because we'll be rendering that in this other object, and I will show you that in a minute. Okay, so here's where we have the 429. And when we have the 429, we need to do is a simple start cooldown of retrying seconds. Simple as that. And when do that start cooldown, it will be start doing a specific cooldown. Now, I'm thinking something else. In the spinning, we are not doing anything if we are actually loading. But we need to do also do anything. And so we change this to or if it's loading, or the other one will be cooldown left dot value, because it's a reference, is bigger than 0. We need to return. So that when the spinning is not happening, when we are in a cooldown and when it's loading. And we just need to stutter. And I think we don't need the stopping actually. Let's remove that one. And let's keep just remaining and the start. And let's kill cooldown left and the start cooldown. Simple as that. And we keep as it is. Okay, I start liking what I see in here. So what I need to do now is we can do a simple, we will filter out in a minute. So let's do anime.value equal request data value, right? That way we're able to share and have the anime information where we're supposed to be. But let's try first if we can continue doing it. So let's do a spin it, rendering, and fail it. Oh, because we're still doing the rest of the element. What we need to do here, if everything went okay, I just need to return. That return means pretty much end my looking for the next one. That means if the first one worked, don't continue with the next attempt. So let's try one more time. There you go. You saw the loading state, and then you saw the actually information here. So I don't need this anymore, right? You're doing what it's supposed to. I spin it, and it showcases right there. Now I need to work with the sizing, and I don't have an object on the right. And this actually looks weird, but we were working on that. So let's do one more time, right? And get the elements here. Cool. Let me refresh it so have the correct sizing. So we see that it's actually working. But before that, I don't want to send that anime right away. I need to verify that it's actually viable to use. So let's create an object called, and we need to validate it that this actually exists. Let's candidate anime to see if it's viable or not. And let's check if the value element exists, because it could be another error. So we need to verify everything. If the value exists, it should be a data value. If somehow this is failed, doesn't exist, that means the API changed or something wrong anywhere that we didn't envision it. We make it null. And that will allow us to have an extra validation. And this is the important part. Always review everything and validate everything. Don't assume that you have everything okay. You need to verify that, especially in JavaScript. You need to verify every element. So if the request data value doesn't exist, That means that return an empty enemy payload, try spinning again. Something's wrong there. So now I want to create a helper function on the top. Let's call it const, and this will be outside the use enemy roulette because it's not going to be exported. It's locally for this file. So let's const is allow ratings. We need to send a rating, and we need to do something about that, right? So if there is no rating, return false, right? That means that enemy will not be available, will be not allow it. But if not, we just return or not rating, trim it. It will know that rating is, it will be a text. If it starts with R, right? So if you start with R, if it doesn't start with R, we send true. But if it starts with R, we send false. This is pretty much what it does. Also, if we're not sending anything, that means this is null, we also return false. So we have a simple helper function that will allow us to verify something. So we know that the enemy object, and let's call it through here. Ooh, did it like it now? What I did now? Oh, I'm not pushing it. So let's do a simple anime dot value equal candidate anime. Sorry, but we need to verify it before. But let's keep it as it is. So let's try it, and there you go. Here I know that I will get a rating somewhere right here. So you need to send the rating object to my rating function. And if this starts with an R, we'll not allow it. So that means we're just telling it, if not allow it, continue. That means make the next attempt. If it's allow it, here we'll break it or stop the for loop. If not, it just continue to go to the next loop. If we get in this type 5 consecutive R ratings animes, then it will fail. It will catch it. If not, whenever it finds something that is allowed, it will push that right away. And that's what we're showcasing here. Cool. And I think we have most of the information that we need. We don't have the watch list yet, but we will add it later. Let me put this over here and add it. Use anime roulette logic. Cool. So now if I get back to my homepage and I know that I'm sending my anime roulette there, let me actually start showcasing it here where it's supposed to be. So now I know that my anime card should have something that should be available. Let me see. Let me just try one more thing. Let me spin this several times. There you go. I get 429 available. So I want to play around with this. And I want to showcase those 10 seconds here before actually show the anime. And that will be the pretty cool part. So let's get back here to the homepage. So we have the spinning. Let's actually do the call down left element object. And we can say something here. As I mentioned before, let's do a compute it. Because I want to have a computed value that we'll be using. And I will create a couple of computer elements. One of them will be this one, spin disable. If my loading value, my loading is true, or my cooldown has an effect, I want to have spin disabled as true. That will allow me to do something in my button that I didn't have here. So I will have in my button, I will have, well, will be disabled only if my spin is disabled. As simple as that. And because of that, I also want to change a couple of elements. Here I want to change my classes, and I want to add, if it's disabled, I will have a cursor of no allow it, and it will remove the opacity a little bit. So let's try that until we'll get the 429 error. You saw it right there when it's loading. It's loading. Oops, let me try to, let me move to here. There you go. This one is not available, but I know that in 10 seconds, this should be available one more time. You can see it? Now I can click it one more time until my cooldown happen. So there are things that I can do for that cooldown to do is maybe put in a message here that will be dynamic and showcase that only when the cooldown is actually happening. So let me put it just after the button. I have this element. So I have a paragraph that will happen only when cooldown left is bigger than 0. By default, cooldown left is always 0. And this have a margin top of 4, rounded XL with a border amber, this is yellow color, and background amber darker with a parent X, parent Y, a smaller font, and we'll say like rate limiting. Try it again in X. So that means we try it, rate limiting. Try it again in 9 seconds. How cool is this? But actually I put it after the button, it should be on the below. I think we need to put it after the div element. Then move all down, so and let's try to get that for 29 one more time. There you go. Ready to try again in 9, 8, 7, 6. As you can see, my button is now available. 3, 2, 1, boom. I can click it one more time, and now pull it. Right? Pretty cool. But I want this actually to change the label too. And that will make it probably a little more user-friendly to do something about that. So let me, if I can see if it's loading, if I can see if there's a cooldown, I could create a computer component value, a computer value that will do something about that, right? So maybe go back here, and after spin disable, I will create here one spin label. That's another component. That what it does is just if loading is true, it will be spinning. If there's a cooldown, it will do cooldown with the seconds. Probably redundant because we already have the error message, but I want to showcase that we can do that. If not, it will just return the word spin, and we have that slot machine one more time. That means that our button, instead of saying spin, we can just say use or spin label. And we have right there. So when it's loading, it says spinning, and when it's finished, it showcases the way it's supposed to be. Right, let's call it a couple of times. Let's try to hit that rate limiting difficult when it actually gets a lot bigger. There you go, cooldown 9. Cool. So our interface is telling the clients, in this case, or the user, what is happening across the board. And we are making adaptations to those particular requests, right? Ready. Let's comment that down and let's add it cooldown logic. Cool. Let me get back now to my anime card and let's actually pull that anime information the way that we need it. So let me see here. I will have a couple of elements that will have it. So let's go. We need to import different components from Vue. Compute it, reference, and watch. We know what is those. The first two are watch is a tier one. When some is pretty much when you're looking something, change the value of something else. This is what it does, pretty much. So whenever you're looking something and that value do something about it, change the value of something else there. So that's the difference between computed. Computed is like calculated value according to different elements, and watch is an effect that will do across the board in other places when a specific value change. And let me show you what I need for those. So the first thing here is that synopsis expanded will be false by default. And I will have a synopsis computed element. And this is came from my object that I know that already came in from my anime. So if anime exists and I have synopsis, will be my synopsis. If not, there is no synopsis available because nobody put it there. Right? We will have a simple niche truncation. That is the synopsis is just too big. I will just wrap it up that down and I will have computed here for my visible synopsis. That means expanded value or niche truncation or return the synopsis value. If not, I will slice it and just showcase the first characters and that's it's just to have that type of information there. That's it. Now I will watch some elements that will make my application to react here. I will react every time, re-render every time the the anime link change, my anime link list change it, or whenever the synopsis expanded value change to false. So I'm watching those elements. I'm telling my Vue application to react or re-render if those actually happen, right? So now let me go to my anime itself and I will add a bunch of stuff that you can pause the video or you look the repo to pull it off. But let me just get this one over here and override with this information. So here, this is what I'm telling it, right? If there's an anime, pull it is, that's what we had before. I just have a space Y and I have a big div, here, this one over here. So we have 4 different elements or wrapped off objects here. The first object that I have overflow hidden, rounded, with a border slate and background slate. This will be my image. And that will make it will take, if I have anime image, that will be the source. The anime title will be alternate text. And I have that class of H80, white full, background slate, and object contained so we can see the full poster. We have some posters that are portraits, some posters that are wider. We can actually see it, the object in here. And loading lazy mean that don't stop the rendering of the rest just because of the image. You're telling that that can wait. Now this anime image should be a computer element that I didn't showcase first. So let me put it here before my synopsis, right here. So here we're just pulling, give me the large image from JPEG, or the image for JPEG, or the large image for WebP, or the image for WebP. I know I already tested, so I know that not always have the image value as it is. So I'm just pretty much returning this one, or this one, or this one, or that one. That's pretty much what it is, right? So it will know what to render right there in that particular area. If there's no image, it will put no poster available. So this is the first element here. The second element is the title of the anime, the score or NA if there's no score there, how many episodes it has, or none if it doesn't have episodes, and the rating itself, right? Remember that we already filtered those out. So this is just basic information about the anime. Next one, we'll see the visible synopsis. And I have a button that if needs truncation, will showcase. And when I click it, the most expanded will be the other way around. That's it. And that only showcases when the synopsis is too big. And if synopsis is expanded, we show less, that will reduce it, or read more. And we'll see that in a bit. As the last element of the anime itself, we just have a button that will call it if in watchlist, add it to the watchlist. If it's not it's in watchlist, if not, the button will say add it to the watchlist. As simple as that. And we'll disable this button if that anime is already in the watchlist itself. Now, there's something in particular here that we didn't call it yet. I'm emitting something. This what it's telling it is we are creating a custom event listener, and we call that add. And we're telling whenever we click it, you can add, and you will set the whole anime object, and that will be for the watch list to add it. So we need to handle it somehow. In Vue, when you define custom event listeners, you call those through event to emit, but you need to define those here. So we're just telling it this component emits adds events. And we're telling here, whenever you click it, you will do an add event and you will set the anime. And then in the parent object, we will listen to the event listener and we will react accordingly. For example, whenever we click a button, we react to the clicking. The click is the event itself, so we do add click, do this one. If we need to focus something, we will react to the focus. So at focus, do something about it. And usually we send a function. Here we'll say when add, so add, we do the add at the beginning, add when this happens in this component, do this logic, and the logic will be handling in an upper level. That's pretty much what we're doing there. And then we're just sending a link to open my enemy list for that particular element. So let me save it, and that should be it. So let me spin it one more time. And now we have an enemy there. We can add it to the watch list, or we can open in my enemy list. If we open it, the link's open right there, right? And here will be for the reactive. It's not doing anything yet because nobody listening. But now we can see that it's actually doing what it's supposed to. And I start liking it. Now we had a cooldown there. And I think that should be it for now. Let me, I think these videos are way too long to actually finish it. It doesn't take too much to add the rest of the parts. Mm, let's actually finish. I don't want to keep this in a new week. So let me just add it here and put anime card layout finish. Oh, of course, you can pause the video, see the text that we have it through there. Okay, now that we have that, I think the only element that is missing is actually my watch list itself. So I have my anime card, and what I want to do is a watch list component. So let me add watch list.view, and this watch list will be taking different elements. But for now, let's I will just copy the whole component and will showcase what it does. So we have a props, we need to send the items. We need to read the items from somewhere. By default, the items are empty. And this will emit the remove event. Why? Because if we have actually items, we have an aside element, this like sidebar, that the name of at the end is like a div, just telling the context about where it goes. That's the one that's going to be the red on the right. And we have the same elements about the rounded, the border, shadow. We just need to have these two Excel, the one that we're using. And the backdrop, like pretty much everything the same. We have title for the watch list. And there's no items, no pick savage yet. But if there's items, it will go and create a list for those particular items with the image, with titles, and with information, the ratings. It will like a mini cards, right? So that's pretty much what it's doing, the mini cards, truncated the elements. And we had the bottom remove if we need to remove from their watch list. And that will be sending the remove event, and we need to react about it. So we go back to here. It should be actually, oh, we need to call it. We are not calling that from anywhere. On our homepage, pretty much we need to add the watch list just now about after the section itself. So we add the watch list, and let's keep it as it is for now. Cool. This will allow us to have a watch list to the right. This is dynamic. It will render according to a number. So the idea will be we like this one to see it. We click to add it. That will be added here. So let's start working with that logic per se on how to do that kind of element. If you want to see details about how this actually looks like, again, you can see the source code. Look per se that we have the aside element, that's the parent, and then we have the different element here about the title itself, that is along, and we have the item length right here. That's a little pill with this number. We are not sending items, that's why it's always 0 for now. And then we keep it. If there's nothing, we send this one over here. But if not, we do a BLs. We make a unordered list with a list element that will be a before for every item in the items that we're sending. And those items should have reflect a specific layout that we will talk about those. So let me add this, added watch list layout. Cool. So let's work in the watch list element. Now we can keep it in memory the way that we do it like the expense. But what happens when you refresh your browser, you never seen those work the way they're supposed to. So that's why we will be changing that to use or actually local storage. And that will help us save that information the way it needed to be done. So one of the first things that we need to do here, we need to add a key. So we'll add another constant. Watchlist key we'll call Animesh Roulette Watchlist, and we can see the object saved in the storage. And by default, let's send that as an empty array. I'll put it right here. So let's initialize the watchlist to be empty. So after the watchlist is empty, we can actually need to return the watchlist, right? Cool. Now that we return the watchlist and we have the different elements, let me make my spinner smaller, and I will create add to watchlist element. So this add to watchlist function, and of course I need to return it. What I'm doing here, okay? I need to add an anime. If that anime doesn't have an ID, I don't do anything. But then I do a quick search about that ID with this one. If it's already in the watch list, I just return it. I don't do anything at all. If not, what I'm doing is just adding to the watch list and then creating a custom object that mal ID, title, score, episode, rating, URL, and image. And the image is like the computer elements that we have before for the URL. It doesn't have an image, it will be empty. That's it. So we just create a custom element for the adding to the watchlist itself. That means if I go to my homepage, I can do something very cool regarding this. I can go to my homepage. Whenever I use this one, I can now get my add to watch list. And as remember, my add card, my anime card emits an event. Well, now we can react to that event. I will say add that to the watch list. As simple as that. So we should be able to spin it. I don't know what exactly it is. Hit the read more. We can see more, show less, like this print it, right? But let's say I want to keep it in my watch list. So I add it. And in theory, it should be being added to my watch list. If it didn't add it, I did something wrong. Let me review my spec elements. Let me see if I don't have an error. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention this. But as you can see, the smaller screen is just one, and bigger screen he makes two. But I'm trying to click here, and it's not doing anything. Interesting. Add to watch list, add to watch list. Anime card, no. Anime card, I will say disable if it's in watch list, but it's not. I will emit add as in the anime itself. Okay. I think something is wrong here. Let me verify exactly what it is. And it's doing it because it should be right here. When we add the value, unshapes means add something at the beginning, and we add the object, and by default, we are sending Watch list. Oh, here's the error. Oh no, I had a typo there, but it looks like I have a correct typo. I have my watchlist key, and I have my empty object. Interesting. What it could be. Let me try to close this, run one more time just in case. Spin it, add it. No. Okay, here we can do something pretty cool. If we go to, oh, it should be here. I don't see it. Memory, no. Sources. Okay, an application side, local storage. Oh, yeah, I'm using the same name as the other one. That's why it's having that issue. Let me remove all those. Okay, it created the one that I needed. So if I add this, okay, it's been added, but somehow it's not being picked up by this guy. It should be. An email roulette watchlist is right there, but it's not being picked up. Oh, silly me. It's not being picked up because I'm not sending it. My watchlist is empty. So this guy gets the items, and I need to send the watchlist itself. So let me get my watchlist, and let me send these items equal, oops, watchlist. Now I can see it right there. Let me spin another one. There's one piece. Add it. It's added to the top. Let's do it one more time. Cool. Let's hit add it, and it's added to the top. If I refresh my page, my watch list stays, and that's pretty neat. And I can see here in the application side, local storage, with the key that we save it, we can actually see the object that has been saved through here. Pretty neat, right? So now, and this will be really tricky to handle. Let me add this one. Let me see if we can actually make this change. That is fine, that is already here. It should not allow us to add it. So let's work on that. So in use enemy roulette, I will add another function that is using watch list. Is pretty much doing this one over here, right? And probably can call this through that, but let's keep as it is. And I can send this using watch list through here. Yeah, if add it, okay. The only things that we need to send now, we need to send if it's in watch list or not on our home page. So our enemy card, we are not sending the watch list itself, even that we had it right here in watch list. So for in order to call it here, and this is Pascal case, because it's two different words, we need to send that in, oh, forget the name. Snake case, probably? Oh my God, I don't remember. Well, we need to send it like this. In dash watch list. This is a boolean. If there's an enemy and it's in watch list with that enemy ID, we send this as a true. And we'll render that accordingly that we have in the anime card. Well, we call it right here. The add button, the button will be disabled if it's in watchlist, and it will be already say in watchlist. So let's refresh this. Call one more time. Ooh. There's an error there. It's not on function. Home page 70. Home page 70 is in watchlist. We're not calling it through here. It's in watchlist. We're not imported. Now it should be there. Okay. Let's add it. And you can see now I cannot click it anymore. And it's grayed out because I already added to the watchlist. As you can see, my watchlist is bigger, it's 6. I have 6 different elements. And the only thing that it's doing here is reacting whenever the add event happens. I call the add watchlist. Let's just do one last one that will be removed from watchlist, and that will be here. So let's put just after add and before is. That's not what it's doing is filter out um, the removal will be value will be the same value that it has before without the same element with the same ID. As simple as that. It's a simple removing. So let's add this to the removing part. Cool. Let's add this to the home page. Let's call it through here. Right? And now we know that the watchlist has an event whenever we click it in the watchlist view component. It has an event that means remove. That means that we tell it add remove. We do remove from watchlist. It's as simple as that. So we click it now. It should remove this one. And I think that's it. We have our application working. When we saw something that we want to see, we can keep it as it is. We can refresh it and it will be there. We can even close it. The default is not working anymore. Run one more time and refresh, and the watchlist will always be there. So now we added a little bit persistence. We added also handling the rate limiting. And we added a user component, user friendly, in order to add those seconds there before we actually call it the spinning one more time. And we handle different errors across the board. Now let's make another error here. So we didn't have the network error. We can try that if we do here, and we can do instead of trolling, let's say, that we are offline, right? Let's say we lost internet and we try to spin it. Spin fail, network error. Check your internet again. Even that my page is running. Now, well, now it's not, but it was rendering. You lost internet. We could just keep it out right here. Then remove the trolling, refresh, and everything is working again. So we handle different type of error. We're able to vision what is happening through here and there, and try to react through those. We're able to store those in local storage, and we're able to use the UX component for the cooldown whenever this is actually happening. And we just keep as it is. We use a couple of constants here and there. And I think we have enough. Let me just finish this. We'll close this. For now, let me just add it. Finish watch list logic. Cool. And sync it. I think the next one will be to use a Wrangler. Set up. Let's try it. Error parsing the file. Mm, Had issues. Okay, we say that I have a newer version. I probably should try it. Details will be shared with Wrangler. Yeah, let me share the errors. It happened again. Really weird. So let me just update here my Wrangler setup. Okay, so let's add Wrangler manually. I don't know what's happening with the command. Look like this, it didn't like it. So let's deploy it the way that it's supposed to be. So let's do a simple npm add Wrangler. Cool. Oh, probably need to fix those. Okay, let me fix those offline. I already did it through the Vue template, so you will not see anything of this, but let me fix those offline right now. Okay, so let's do a couple of things. Now that we installed that one, let me go to my package JSON. I see Wrangler there, perfect. Let me just add the preview, we'll change to, to Wrangler dep. And we'll add the deploy over here. I also we need to add the byte plugin. I think I didn't install it, that one. npm install byte plugin. Cool. Yeah, it's right there. And now I can go to my bitconfig. And the only thing that I need to do is add Cloudflare here. Of course, I need to import it. And I think that should be it, if I'm correctly. So let me just try to run the deploy, just to see if it's actually working. npm run deploy. Yeah, it's building. It's posting it. Okay. Yeah, uploaded everything. Yep. Oh, we have an issue here. It's saved as view basic template. And it saved that. Let me fix it. So let me show you what needs to be done. That's actually funny. So let me close this. And let me go right here. It's because of this. We didn't change the name of our package. Yeah. So let's go back to the index one. I think we have the name there. Let me copy this over. Go to package JSON, paste it there. And it need to be lowercase with a dash. I'll save those. Yeah, I think we have it. Deploy info and package new name. Let me sync those. Let me see if I can just do a deploy and that will actually generate a new one. I'm not sure about that. That's actually the first time that happens to me. Yeah, cool. So you generate a new one. So now I have my anime roulette machines. An anime, I can add it, I can refresh, and I can remove, and everything is working. Cool. So just as an extra step, I will just show you that. So let me go to Cloudflare. Let me log in. Oops. I think I have this in my this. Oh, it is one probably. Oh, I use my GitHub. Okay, now that I'm here, I can see that my view basic template is right here. Let me just remove it. Configure settings. And let's see if I can do something about this. It needs to be removed from our site. That should be in domain variables, triggers, or stability, place and build, general, deployments. No, where it needs to be actually removed. Workers and pages, view settings. This changed since the last time that I came in. Here, general, prevent the delete all files. So I type the name. I don't need to have the view basic template. I just do a cleanup. And now I just have the rest of the elements that I needed. So here's my visit, and this is actually working. Cool. It went through a roller coaster here and there. Oh, we hit the spin. There you go. So I really hope that you like it. We went through the process how to add it to the local storage. It was as simple as just type use local storage. That will wrap it up in a reference whenever you just need to change the value. And that's it. And saving to local storage will be behind curtains for you. The cool thing to add it is just we need to remove an element. You need to filter that out and substitute the same object with the object with the filter enabled. And that's it. In order to add it, we add those onto the top. We can do a push and we'll be adding to the bottom. It will be dependent on whatever you want. So for the assignments, what I need, of course, new colors. That's the main one. You can use the same name. That doesn't matter that much, but you can use different colors. That will be important across the board. And I need you to add this to your view tree. So in your view tree, add an extra link for the anime roulette machine. And make a little comment there regarding that you're just pulling information from the random endpoint for Jinkan API. And that should be it. So I will need the GitHub URL, the deploy app with different colors, and please send me again your view tree link, just the deploy one. That's it. That's only the one that I need, just to see the actual link is there. So I hope that you like it. It was a really long video. Went through and we did a lot. But I wanted to showcase and keep it in a week how to pull a specific recipe API. Because I believe next week we will be actually creating our own APIs. And we'll talk about that. So I hope that you like it. Any question, any doubt, don't hesitate to reach me. Happy coding, everybody.